It's 4 o'clock. The top stories live on 7 News. An accused killer in Fairfield caught as police dig up land searching for a Leppington grandfather. Parole in sight for the Menendez brothers. Prosecutors say the parent killers have paid their dues. And spin king Shane Warne receives a new honour at the club where it all started.
This is 7 News with Sally Bowrey.
Good afternoon. As we go to where police are digging up a plot of land in the Hawkesbury where they believe the body of a missing man who has been buried. Homicide detectives say Edwin Dobbin, who disappeared from his Leppington home last month, was shot dead. A 67-year-old man accused of murdering the 82-year-old didn't apply for bail when he faced Fairfield local court today.
Police spoke with the family yesterday, and obviously in these tragic circumstances they're very, very upset. Camden Police continue to work with the family to assist them in that process as this investigation unfolds.
The 82-year-old victim knew his alleged killer. Bill Hogan has an update on the search after 4:30. Qantas engineers walked off the job today as they campaigned for higher wages, the strike coinciding with the airline's annual general meeting, which is being held in Hobart. The national carrier says backup measures had been put in place and travellers weren't impacted. It's announced a one-off $1,000 bonus payment to all non-executive staff because the company's going well. Aviation editor Blake Johnson is there and will have a full report later this hour. Freedom is in sight for Eric and Lyle Menendez, the brothers convicted of murdering their parents in Beverly Hills. In the coming hours, prosecutors will ask a judge for them to be resentenced and released on parole. US correspondent Miley Hogan reports.
This is the decision the Menendez brothers had been hoping for. After more than 30 years behind bars, they now have a shot at freedom. The LA District Attorney will recommend their life without parole sentence be scrapped and instead the brothers be resentenced with murder. Based on their age when they killed their parents and time served, they'd be eligible for parole immediately.
I believe that they have paid their debt to society.
In 1989, Lyle and Eric Menendez shot their parents in their Beverly Hills mansion. The brothers argued they killed their parents in self-defence after years of sexual abuse at the hands of their father. But prosecutors successfully proved that wasn't true and they acted out of greed, killing their parents to inherit their wealth. The case has been thrust back into the spotlight after a very popular Netflix drama series and a documentary.
I see what happens.
On top of that, the DA examined new evidence that backed the brothers' claims they'd been assaulted.
And I do believe that the brothers were subjected to a tremendous amount of dysfunction in the home and molestation.
The District Attorney did say that his office was divided on this decision and some strongly disagree with it. The DA will hand his recommendation to a court tomorrow and ultimately a judge will make a final decision on whether the Menendez brothers walk free.
A man has faced court today accused of stabbing his father to death at Wentworthville. Police say George Vaz was stabbed several times in the neck by his 34-year-old son yesterday morning. The alleged murderer's 60-year-old mother was at home at the time of the attack but wasn't hurt. Shane Vaz was denied bail. King Charles has addressed the threat of global warming and the dangers of social media, delivering the opening address to the Commonwealth Leaders Summit in Samoa. On the sidelines, Anthony Albanese and Keir Starmer pledged to tackle climate change in their first meeting since the new UK Prime Minister won the election. Isabel Mullen is in Samoa.
Good afternoon. Out here in the Samoan villages, families have been very excited for Their Majesty's visit. You can probably see streets are literally lined with British flags. Today, King Charles gave his first address to the Commonwealth as sovereign, labelling climate change an existential threat to island nations like Samoa, fearing climate inaction could lead to future wars between Commonwealth countries, His Majesty imploring the private sector to cut emissions.
We are well past believing it is a problem for the future. We have seen terrifying storms in the Caribbean, devastating flooding in East Africa, and catastrophic wildfires in Canada. Lives, livelihoods and human rights are at risk across the Commonwealth. This is a family. Together we are wiser, stronger, and more able to respond to the demands of our time.
The king of the climate out planting trees.
Does he produce a fruit?
As Anthony Albanese rejected criticism, Australia is not doing enough to combat climate change. Meeting with Samoan Prime Minister Fiame and the UK's new Prime Minister Keir Starmer. The United Kingdom and Australia promising to share new clean energy technology.
We've got a good, strong, shared history together.
Tomorrow leaders are tipped to sign the Ocean Declaration, a shared agreement on how countries can best manage rising sea levels and protect communities like these.
Beyoncé is expected to join Kamala Harris at a rally in Texas. Sources say the singer will perform at an event in Houston where she was born. Willie Nelson is also set to appear. Today, the Democratic presidential candidate receives celebrity support from Bruce Springsteen. We'll have a full report from the campaign trail after 4:30. There's a new tribute to late cricket legend Shane Warne. A stand refurbished and renamed in his honour has been unveiled at the home of the club where his career started. Nick McCallum spoke with family today.
3, 2, 1,
This is just absolutely incredible. We're so grateful to be here today to witness the unveiling of the Shane Warne stand at the Junction Oval. It's just absolutely incredible.
What do you think it would have meant to your dad?
I think he would be so touched and so proud and so honoured to have your stand named after him at such an incredible oval and such an oval that played such a big part in his life. I think he'd be really touched.
Because St Kilda Cricket Club, where it all started for him, meant so much, didn't it?
It really did, and I think he always kept this oval so close to his heart. So this is just, seeing his stand, it's going to live on forever.
He just loves St Kilda Cricket Club, loved playing at Junction Oval. It was a big part of his life. It's where his senior cricket really launched from.
And you got quite a reputation, you and your brother and your sister, didn't you, down here when he was playing?
Yes, we did. We always liked to be little menaces, but well behaved, but like to be quite cheeky as well in the change rooms with Dad. It was a lot of fun.
Work in the air, and the glove is out, and that's the record.
And overall, there's now been so many tributes. There's an MCG Shane Warne stand, there's one at Hampshire, there are ovals named after him. What does that mean to you?
I don't think really words can I can't really put it into words. I couldn't even get it out about how incredible it is and how grateful we are to be able to have our dad's name on such massive stands around the world, and it's just absolutely incredible because he would have just been so touched.
And how cool is it to be able to watch the game today from the Shane Warne stand?
It's going to be awesome. We're so grateful, so thank you so much.
Lovely as always to speak to Brooke Warne after the unveiling of the Shane Warne stand here at St Kilda.
Nick McCallum there. Well, Amber Laidler joins us now with the latest on Sydney's weather. Hello to you, Amber. There was plenty of sunshine today, but it was pretty cool out of the wind.
Good afternoon, Sal. Yeah, it was warm in the sun if you caught a break in the breeze, but those fresh southerlies made it feel several degrees cooler than these maximums would suggest. Tops reached 25 in parts of the west, though it never felt warmer than 19 at Penrith. While across New South Wales today, daytime temperatures have generally been a touch below average, particularly along the coast and the ranges. It has been mostly dry since 9 a.m. Overnight totals, though, were more significant, with 30 to 50 millimetres recorded along central and northern parts of the coastline. If we take a look at the satellite image, that large high pressure system will extend a ridge across the state, and that will keep conditions mostly clear tomorrow. It will be cool again in more southerlies, but conditions are set to start warming up before the weekend is out. Your detailed 7-day outlook coming up later, Sal.
All right, thanks for that. See you then. Still ahead, children killed in a Gaza school shelter strike. We'll have all those details, plus tomorrow's spring housing sale boom. Our property editor on the suburbs to watch. Burns care breakthrough behind the Aussie science growing skin in a lab. And later, refreshing your wardrobe on a budget. The fashion trend not only saving, but making you money. Thanks for your company live on 7 this Friday afternoon. It's currently 21 degrees in the city, a little bit of blue sky there as well as we go to air. Overseas now, and US and Israeli negotiators will attempt to restart talks this weekend on a Gaza ceasefire and the release of hostages. Today, at least 17 people were killed at a school shelter in Gaza, with children among the dead. Here's foreign editor Hugh Whitfield.
When the Israeli military conducts airstrikes on schools, it's because they say Hamas is hiding there among human shields. This boy lost his sister in today's strike. The siblings fled their home in northern Gaza and were told the school would be a place to find shelter. Her name was Malak, meaning angel. The mass exodus of northern Gaza, the result of Israel telling people the south is safer. But there are multiple accounts that the IDF has forced them out, separating men from their families, blindfolded and bound. The stated aim is to find terrorists.
They will have two choices, either to surrender or to die in starvation, which is fully consistent with the international humanitarian law.
Some in Gaza say they don't want to leave because they don't trust Israel will ever let them go back to their homes. Just on the other side of the border, some Israelis are already plotting to move into the land that's been evacuated. These families of Israel's right-wing settlers pose for pictures, smiling with Gaza smouldering in the background. This man's wearing a T-shirt that says Gaza must be destroyed.
But they brought it for themselves. I think they're all Hamas.
Children are given bubbles to watch the bombings, and they get books teaching Israel's right to take more land, even from Lebanon. But first, they want Gaza.
All the world love them. They can bring ships and take them to their countries.
One of the last hospitals in northern Gaza reports they've been surrounded and cut off from aid. The intensive care unit cares for burned children. Hugh Whitfield, 7 News.
Turkey has hit sites in Iraq and Syria linked to Kurdish militant group the PKK after blaming it for a terror attack in Ankara. The Turkish military said the retaliatory strikes killed 59 people it described as terrorists. Earlier this week, 5 people died and 22 were injured after a man and woman set off a bomb and opened fire at an aerospace company. No group has claimed responsibility. Well, we're expecting an auction frenzy across the country tomorrow, but will buyers sit tight or will they snap up their piece of Sydney? With all the answers, our New South Wales property editor, Angelique Opie, joins me at the desk this afternoon. Thanks for your time today, Angel. OK, take us through. Experts say buyers will have plenty of choice this weekend. Why is that?
Sally, they're saying that it could be a super Saturday with more than 3,100 properties going under the hammer in Australia. Melbourne has the lion's share of homes, 1,600. The main reason being sellers want to get deals done before the Melbourne Cup and festive season. In Sydney, more than 1,000 homes are going to auction, but the clearance rate is sitting at 60%, lower than this time last year. The current market is really favouring buyers. CoreLogic's Eliza Owen explains.
Buyers might actually find a bit of an advantage. If they've got more stock to choose from, they can use that to negotiate down buying prices and ultimately bring down the value of homes.
OK, so where are the top picks of places this weekend?
Sally, there is certainly demand in affordable areas. In Blacktown, 79 auctions are scheduled. Suburbs like St Mary's and Mount Druitt have seen prices go up 10% in the past year. The Northern Beaches will also host 79. This is an area that has always been a traditional auction market. On 7 News tonight, we will show viewers some open for inspections from $1 million prestige properties to homes under $1 million in Penrith and North St Mary's.
All right, thank you very much. We'll see you then. Thank you, Angelique. An Australian burns patient is at the centre of a world-first medical breakthrough, given skin grown in a lab. Researchers say it offers a lifeline in the most tragic of cases. Christy Mayer found out more.
It's being described as the biggest breakthrough for burns care in decades, a joint project by Monash University and the Alfred Hospital to grow skin in a lab from human cells.
This development is
I guess, what you call the holy grail in burn surgery.
The aim of the artificial skin is to provide an alternative to painful skin grafts, which also carry a high risk of infection and scarring.
We've treated 2 patients so far, and although it's very early days in the clinical trial that we're running, we've been very impressed.
Researchers start by taking a biopsy of the patient's skin cells and then combine it with a special hydrogel. The technique replicates the skin's top layers. Within a month, the tissue grows into sheets. After the transplant, it becomes part of the body within a week.
We've treated a child and one adult with the engineered skin.
This is a very significant advancement.
The project is currently in phase 1 of the trial process, which is funded by a government grant until 2026.
Next in 7's afternoon news, we'll have sport with Matt Carmichael, including David Warner's life ban lifted. He captained the Thunder, but what about a test comeback? Also, Chris Waller gives his verdict on Via Sistina before tomorrow's Cox Plate. And later, an Aussie DJ duo take over a school formal. We meet the team who made it happen.
On 7 News at 6, it's the 2024 Christmas ham battle. Coles versus Woolies versus Aldi. As supermarkets fight to win back your trust, we reveal the tastiest, the best value, and which are really Aussie made. On 7 News at 6.
Hello in 7 News. Murder mystery, the desperate search to find a buried body. Property blitz, new rent rules revealed, and your preview of a Super Saturday of auctions. Revealed Southwest Sydney's high-tech health boost, miracle escape as a towering crane collapses, and Sydney's best deal on the perfect Christmas ham. That's 7 News at 6.
It's time for sport now with Matt Carmichael. And Matt, the Kangaroos, well, they're enjoying life in Christchurch at the moment, aren't they?
A bit of fishing, a bit of golf today. Tough life being an international rugby league player, Sal. After a day off today, one of Australia's most critical test matches in decades looms on Sunday afternoon. Defeat could leave the Kangaroos fighting to stay in the Pacific Championship's top tier. Jaleesa Apps has the latest from Christchurch.
Well, it's an absolutely beautiful day here for the Kangaroos' day off. The coaches, though, they were up bright and early this morning. They were having breakfast with the rugby league community here in Christchurch. Kiwi coach Stacey Jones is embracing his new role, leading the side after years as an assistant to Michael Maguire. This is a very different looking team to the one that won the Pacific Championships last year. Dylan Brown, Kieran Foran, Jerome Hughes, just some of the names unavailable through injury. Joey Manu, he's obviously gone to rugby, and Nelson Asafa-Solomona is suspended, but Jones is confident they can build on momentum of that huge 30-0 win when they last faced Australia.
We build on that, but obviously there's a new group of players too. Some old players coming back into the side, but standards were set over the last few years.
Now, as for the Jillaroos, they are also out to avenge their loss to the Kiwis in Melbourne last year. Quincy Dodd is out with a quad injury, but in good news, captain Ali Brigginshaw returns from a finger injury.
Yeah, I couldn't sit still on the sideline. I always get embarrassed saying I had to miss a game of footy for a finger.
The doubleheader here in Christchurch is sold out. It all kicks off on Sunday.
Thanks, Jaleesa. The Matildas concede there is still no timeline on Sam Kerr's return from injury. While Australia prepare for tomorrow morning's friendly against Switzerland in Zurich, Kerr continues her rehab from the ACL injury suffered in January.
It's really important for Sam to take as long as it takes to make sure she comes back fully without cutting any corners. What happens a bit later in the year we'll address at that time, because I honestly don't know.
After Switzerland, the Matildas face Germany on Tuesday. There'll be no Test cricket, but Dave Warne is now free to captain Sydney Thunder. Today, Warner's lifetime leadership ban was lifted for his role in Sandpapergate, the infamous ball tampering scandal more than 6 years ago.
David has shown great regret and remorse, and I think his actions since that ban has shown that he does regret that. So I would imagine it does provide some closure for him in that regard.
Warne turns 38 next week. 21-year-old Phoebe Litchfield will captain the Thunder women and be the youngest skipper in Big Bash history. Pat Cummins treated Warner's offer to come back to Test cricket like the first ball he faced at the Junction Oval today, batting for the Blues.
I can't remember if he reached out or I did. It's like, what do you think? And I'm like, yeah, good luck with Thunder this year.
Cummins is making a rare appearance for the Blues and took a wicket with his 12th ball of the summer against Victoria. The Vics are chasing 337 to win off a rain-shortened 45 overs. Steve Smith made 56 off 53 balls, and we cannot believe what has just happened at the Wacker. From 2 for 52, WA lost 8 for 1 against Tasmania to be all out for 53. Every player in that WA 11 has played for Australia. Tassie won with more than 41 overs to spare. Via Sistina is well fed and fit to race tomorrow's Cox Plate. After taking his mare back to Moonee Valley to settle her nerves, Chris Waller explained the recovery from Tuesday's track work mishap as only a horse trainer can.
She recovered well and the feed bin's been impressive. She's licked it clean each and every night and day. Much happier than I was on Tuesday morning. She's had a good week, simple as that.
Bookies have seen enough of Via Sistina to challenge prognosis for favouritism. Cox Plate Day is live on 7 tomorrow. Cam Waters set the pace in his Mustang as the supercars returned to the streets of Surfers Paradise and went curb hopping in opening practice for the Gold Coast 500. With his blood pumping, Richie Stanaway nearly ran over his own pit crew.
Stanaway, oh, nice one. That was awkward.
Olympic swimming legend Ariarne Titmus continued her long lap of honour since the Paris Games with a hot lap in Jamie Whincup's Chevy Corvette. Not how you park when you get home in the garage cell.
It is how I park quite a few times into pot plants occasionally. Thanks for that, Matt. Well, this afternoon's top stories are next, plus upgrades to a Parramatta swimming spot unveiled. Also, rental reforms making life easier for the state's 2.2 million tenants. We're at the Qantas shareholder meet-up. The carriers promised to travellers. And the boss rocks a Kamala Harris rally. Star power to turn around poor polls.
This is 7 News with Sally Bowrey.
Welcome back. Police are searching a property in the Hawkesbury this afternoon for the body of missing murdered man Edward Dobbin. The grandfather's alleged killer has been arrested, but as Bill Hogan reports, his motives yet to be revealed.
Good afternoon. Well, Philip Bruce has fronted Fairfield Court charged with the alleged murder of an 82-year-old man who's been missing now for a month. Edwin Dobbin was last seen in Leppington on September 25th this year, the grandfather's family raising the alarm, prompting police to launch an investigation. Bruce is understood to be a good friend of the elderly man. The 67-year-old had been assisting, but they recently found he had told detectives conflicting information.
Through the course of the investigation, police were provided with information that in some respects was conflicting in nature. As a response to that investigation, it led us to the Smithfield address yesterday where the 67-year-old man was arrested.
While he was arrested, police began searching his family farm in Upper Colo in the state's Hawkesbury region, where it will continue for days. Assisted by forensics, the dog squad and multiple agencies, they are searching the large property for where they believe the small horse breeder is buried.
I would expect at this stage it to be an extensive search, probably going to have to go over the course of a couple of days as it's forensically examined. Police spoke with the family yesterday and obviously in these tragic circumstances they're very, very upset.
Bruce was charged with murder and hindering the investigation and unlawful disposal of corpse. Police are investigating whether a gun was used in the alleged killing. Bruce's barrister had no explanation today. What's the relationship between your client and the deceased? Bruce made no application for bail. His matter was adjourned to Parramatta Court on December 19.
It promises to give peace of mind to the 2.2 million tenants across the state. A suite of rental reforms have passed Parliament. No grounds evictions are banned, rent increases capped to 1 per year and restrictions on pets lifted. Prospective renters won't have to pay for background checks and fees on transfers are scrapped.
And measured rental package which provides security for renters and certainty for landlords.
State Labor says the changes won't impact the availability of affordable rentals. We'll have the full story tonight at 6. Qantas has announced a one-off cash bonus for staff while workers rallied in coordinated strikes across the country. In Hobart, engineers walked off the job and straight to the airline's investor meeting, sending a message to bosses inside. Aviation editor Blake Johnson is there.
The anger from Qantas shareholders has dropped off, but there's still frustration from the company's engineers who are on strike again today. Their union's targeting the annual general meeting here in Hobart.
Union! Union!
It comes as Qantas announces a one-off $1,000 bonus payment to all non-executive staff. Engineers involved in the ongoing strike received that payment, but unions say it's not enough.
You're still paid $11 an hour less than if you went and had a job at Boeing.
Some shareholders still want answers for the way Qantas was run under former Chief Executive Alan Joyce.
But I think there's still a need for some atonement by the board. There's been brand damage to a level where people like me are almost cheering for Qatar to become a viable competitor to Qantas.
It's clear in the report what went wrong. It's been spelled out. We've taken full accountability for that.
The executive pay plan was accepted this year after shareholders angrily voted against it last year.
We have a new CEO in Vanessa, and we have a largely new management team under Vanessa as well.
Qantas also announcing new economy seats on some of its ageing Airbus A330s, plus the inclusion of domestic flights on its relatively new Classic Plus rewards program.
Once fully rolled out on the Qantas domestic network, members will have access to more than 20 million reward seats.
Just 12 shareholders registered to attend today's meeting in person in Hobart. The airline's decision to move the event each year, perhaps shielding it from a wider audience in the room today.
Blake Johnson there. There's a new chapter in one of the most gripping murder stories in America. Today, the Los Angeles County District Attorney recommended the Menendez brothers, who killed their parents in the 80s, be resentenced. It means the men who were jailed for life without the possibility of parole could be eligible for immediate release.
They have been in prison for nearly 35 years. I believe that they have paid their debt to society.
Prosecutors will file paperwork in court in coming hours. It will ultimately be up to the parole board and a judge to make the final decision. And entertainment editor Wen Lee joins us live at the desk this afternoon. Wen Lee, this of course was thrust, this case, back into international spotlight thanks to the Netflix series Monsters. Just how influential is that in reopening the case?
Oh, hugely influential, because the brothers have been appealing over the years. They even filed a petition earlier this year to have new evidence introduced. But as soon as this series came on, it was all of a sudden all that anyone was talking about. And the Los Angeles District Attorney, he's in a tight re-election race. So he does know politically this plays very well for him. It's a popular decision.
And coupled with the fact we've had celebrity endorsements, I mean, have they fed into that momentum?
Absolutely. Kim Kardashian went and visited the brothers the weekend the series came out, along with one of the cast members from the show. And once again, that just generated more headlines, because what they were convicted on, which was in the second trial, the accusations of abuse by their father was not allowed into the second trial. And now all of a sudden everyone in the world knows about it, and people think there's been an injustice that's happened.
I mean, there is power in storytelling. There is power in Hollywood. This is certainly not the first time we've seen that play out with a documentary or podcast shaping events.
Absolutely, but it is really sticky and thorny as well. You have had cases like the Serial podcast, which was about 10 years ago, and in that case, Adnan Syed has actually been released, but he's had his conviction reinstated. There was the Making a Murderer case with also on Netflix, and the prosecutor in that case said he received 4,000 death threats after the documentary went live. One of the people in that case had his conviction overturned, and then it was, reinstated upon appeal as well. And even in Australia, the Teacher's Pet podcast was very influential in getting the Chris Dawson case moving along.
I think the public's appetite for true crime certainly remains, and the power of it as well. Thanks for that, Wen Lee.
Thank you.
Well, rock legend Bruce Springsteen has headlined a Kamala Harris rally in Georgia as the Democrats are turning to star power to stop a drift in the polls. US correspondent Tim Lester was there.
Democrats have long enjoyed the edge over rival Republicans when it comes to the giant US entertainment business. Well, now, 12 days out from the vote, they're calling in the big guns. 75-year-old rock legend Bruce Springsteen has already been on video endorsing Kamala Harris. Now he's going to work at one of her most important rallies to draw in voters.
Even if we're just dancing in the
dark.
This, as a Wall Street Journal poll says, Kamala Harris is now behind nationally. Trump 47, Harris 45, though that's well within the poll's margin of error. And the seven battleground states are still way too close for predictions, though not for Donald Trump.
We are going to have the biggest victory in the history of our country on November 5th.
I get why people are looking to shake things up. What I cannot understand is why anybody would think that Donald Trump will shake things up in a way that is good for you.
The longer the campaign runs, the darker and more apocalyptic the messages become. Kamala Harris today talking about the threat of a second Trump presidency.
I do believe Donald Trump to be an unserious man, and the consequences of him ever being president again are brutally serious.
And today Trump himself has acknowledged he would fire in seconds the special prosecutor Jack Smith, who's behind two of those unresolved Trump court cases. Tomorrow the Democrats will take their star blitz to Texas. Superstar Beyonce expected to perform and to endorse Kamala Harris.
Tim Lester there. Well, Lake Parramatta is back open from this weekend. The local swimming hole was closed since May, while it had a $1.4 million state government upgrade. The additions include a sandy beach, lifeguard station, an outdoor shower, new seating and landscaping. More than 50,000 visitors take a dip each year, bringing the sea closer to Western Sydney. A teenager's given his classmates a night to remember after convincing Aussie DJ duo Peking Duck to play at his school formal after party. Kai McFan decided to shoot his shot in a letter, and after putting the question to their social media followers, they agreed to make a guest appearance.
Yeah, it was amazing. Everything and more. It was just sensational. The guys just put on the best show.
The event was originally going to be held in the 15-year-old's backyard, but much to his mum's relief, it was then moved to the school. Your Friday Finance Update is up next, plus a look at the new medical imaging tech detecting disease earlier. And high-end looks at low prices behind the dress hire trend that's shaking up fashion. Plus, it's 24 in Penrith. Your forecast soon.
Tomorrow on Weekend Sunrise, the downsize movement, how to shrink your home to free up cash. Plus, new solutions cutting your cleaning time in half. And Kate Winslet joins us from 7 a.m. Only on Weekend Sunrise.
Together all the time.
On 7 News at 6, it's the 2024 Christmas Ham Battle. Coles versus Woolies versus Aldi. As supermarkets fight to win back your trust, we reveal the tastiest, the best value, and which are really Aussie made. On 7 News at 6.
Well, Sydney has access to a new high-tech CAT scan machine that can see disease earlier than ever before. Decades in development, it has a crucial advantage over old generation devices. Paul Caddack reports.
Good afternoon. For the first time in Sydney, it is the very latest in medical imaging technology that health experts say will make a huge difference in the diagnosis and treatment of everything from heart and lung disease to cancer.
Unveiled today at Loomis Imaging at St George Private Hospital, the next generation of CT scanner called the Alpha. 20 years in development and the first in the state, the $4 million machine with its photon counting technology, promising up to 4 times the resolution.
And with that, we can see disease better. We're able to see cardiovascular disease, coronary artery disease earlier. In cancer, We think this machine will see lesions earlier.
It gets around problems with current scanners that can't see through metallic stents in arteries.
Now we can see this on the CT scan. We can rule out if there's any blockage or diagnose it sooner.
And with the radiation dose of nearly half that of other scanners, it's safer for patients, they say, allowing more regular scanning. Premier Chris Minns, who earlier this year lost his father to a heart attack, says he's interested in how it can help doctors deal with heart disease.
I know that these emerging technologies will make a major difference for those that have heart disease.
50 years after the first CT scanner, giving doctors in Sydney now a safer way to see more clearly.
To finance news, and the ASX faded to another flat finish on Friday. Here's James Tower from ING Bank.
Good afternoon. The Aussie market managed to inch higher on Friday, adding about 5 points to the ASX 200 index. It's now 3 sessions in a row where we've seen a fairly flat finish. Over the course of the week, the ASX 200 did finish lower by close to 1%. But a real standout on the market today was the performance of our technology sector on the back of one stock, really, which was WiseTech Global, the logistics software firm, rallying about 12% on news. Its CEO will be standing aside immediately amid allegations of misconduct. Another winner today was Qantas. The airline hit fresh all-time highs today as it held its annual general meeting. Its share price up close to 2% by the close of the session. On the losers side, though, we saw Newmont, the gold miner, continuing to fall, down about 13% today as investors continued to digest its recent quarterly numbers. And the Aussie dollar, also a bit of a loser against the US dollar. It's now hitting 2-month lows, buying 66.2 US cents.
Sydney's 6pm news is coming up with Angie Asmus and Michael Usher. Hello to you, Angie. What's on the program?
Hello, Sally. Tonight, the latest on the search for a missing grandfather and popular horse trainer after a Fairfield man was arrested and charged with murder. Police have spent the day scouring a property in the Hawkesbury where they believe a body is buried. At 6, what we know about the victim and his alleged killer. Also tonight, the Qantas rebuild in full effect, bonuses for workers and deals for customers. But there's still plenty of unrest. Find out why. Some say the ghost of Alan Joyce was hovering over today's AGM. A Super Saturday of auctions on the way, your guide to the hotspots for buyers, from suburban homes to prestige properties, and why now could be the perfect time to make an offer. An incredible escape from a towering crane, the worker who left it to the very last moment. And we think it's never too early for Christmas hams. They're already on the shelves. So 7 News is putting the festive favourites to the test, finding the best taste and value. Sally will have all of that and plenty more for you in Sydney's 7 News at 6.
Yep, Amy looking like she's enjoying that ham
That's
story.
right.
All right, thanks, Ange. See you then. Well, if you want the high-end look but for a fraction of the price, a new trend of renting fashion could be the answer. Sean White's been checking out Dress Hire and how it can not only save you but make you money.
Designer clothes without the price tag.
So cute!
With Spring Racing Carnival here and the party season fast approaching, more women are turning to renting an outfit for their next occasion.
By renting dresses, people can save up to 80% of the retail price. Some of the dresses that we rent are worth up to $2,000, and that's something that you can rent for $400. So that saves you $1,600.
Well, full price, this dress would cost you $1,500, but to rent, prices start at just $149, with many rentals sitting at this same price point on the Dress for a Night website.
We've noticed customers' buying behaviour has changed as the cost of living has increased. Renting is a more affordable way to do fashion. You can now rent a dress at a cheaper price and you still have money left over to afford the makeup, the shoes, the everything else that goes along with going to an event.
And the process is simple. Available nationwide, find the dress you want online. Check its availability, then book, pay and wear. When it comes to returning, post it back with the satchel provided, or drop it off in store. No need to worry about washing. Dry cleaning is also included in your rental price. But you can also make a quick buck by renting out your own wardrobe. Websites like Rent a Dress and The Vault allow you to become a lender, with around 80,000 separate items up for rent. It's a lucrative side hustle and an easy way to make money off your clothing that's collecting dust. All you do is create a listing, find your renter and have it returned.
It's pretty, love it, cute.
Sean White, 7 News.
Stay with us on 7 News. Sydney's weekend weather forecast is live next with Amber Laidler.
Good afternoon, Monique Bavino here in the Allcastle Homes traffic chopper. Over to Rockdale, a two-car crash affecting the Princes Highway Bay Street northbound, one lane getting through. Over to Casilla at Old Currajong Road for the Hume Highway. A car and motorcycle have collided in this middle lane. We've got lots of crews on site and heavy traffic in both directions. Allcastle's Titan duplexes, 12 bedrooms, 6 baths from $999,995 on your land. Interested in subdivision? allcastlehomes.com.au.
We have some breaking news in now. Police have found the body of a grandfather during a search at a property in the Hawkesbury. Edwin Dobbin went missing from Leppington last month. The 82-year-old's alleged killer faced court today on murder charges. His motive is yet to be revealed. Amber's back now with the forecast. Hello again, Amber. What's in store tomorrow?
Sally, we're expecting generally fine weather across Sydney this weekend, and it's warming up too. It reached a top of 22 degrees in the city this afternoon. Right now it is 19, though in fresh southeasterlies it actually feels more like 13. Checking the satellite image, and generally settled conditions are expected throughout the weekend under the influence of a broad ridge of high pressure that's extending across the state. There is a cold front forecast across southern New South Wales during Sunday and Monday. It's associated trough moving over the remainder of the state. It really shouldn't have too much of an impact on our weather here in Sydney, though, at this stage. But taking a look around the capitals, a shower or two, tops of 25 degrees in Brisbane, a mostly sunny 19 in Canberra, 21 under sunny skies tomorrow in Melbourne, tops of 24 degrees forecast over in Perth, a possible shower up in Darwin, tops of 36 degrees. Back here in Sydney, though, looking like a lovely start to the weekend. Under sunny skies, 20 degrees is the forecast top tomorrow in moderate southerlies, but it only warms up from there, reaching 26 to 28 degrees across the city on Sunday. Partly cloudy skies are forecast, tops of 31 forecast in the west on Monday. There's a slight chance of a late shower Monday, early Tuesday, but otherwise conditions generally look relatively settled until later next week. Sal, more weather coming up in the news at 6.
Yeah, you can't complain about that. All right, thanks, Amber. See you then. And that's Sydney's 4pm news for this Friday. Angie Asmus and Michael Usher will bring you 7 News at 6. I'm Sally Bowrey. Stay with 7 now for the Chase Australia. Have a great night.